This is absolutely Essendon off-season ramblings part 4, the draft review episode.
Yep.
What a big draft season and an outstanding crop of young talent. Or that's what you're supposed to say. I don't know if they are.
Well,
but,
I mean,
that's the narrative.
Usually they last about 2 years and then they're gone and we all wonder why we ever drafted them. But right now, they're all superstars in the making.
Yes.
And I think we did particularly well in the draft.
Is there any club that thinks that they didn't do particularly well in the draft? That's my question.
Yeah, probably not. I wouldn't. I think they're all walking around patting themselves on the back.
Exactly.
Cracking the cans of Traveller beer and celebrating their success at the draft table.
A couple of pretzels.
And their wise and their wisdom at selecting that roughie at pick 56.
Their shrewd deal-making.
The next...
working the phones.
Oh, completely. And there's some really exciting footage out there.
Is there?
Yeah, of Adrian Doro,
right.
The great Jackets working the phones.
Really?
And we'll come to that because it was a highly suspenseful, electric atmosphere in the war room, the Essendon, I think they call it a war room,
right.
On draft day.
Was it?
And have you ever seen that final scene in the film The Untouchables when they're pulling the big final scene of The Untouchables? You know, it's in the Grand Central Station in New York. And
yes.
They're waiting to
that.
get the gangsters, and it was that level of suspense. Kevin Costner.
Right.
And a young him.
When did they unfreeze you?
Okay, so it was
can
great.
Can we keep our references?
No, I think everyone
years?
loves a movie reference. Maybe I should stick with something more recent.
Just a little more contemporary, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
But yes,
like Lord of the Rings.
What I noticed in the Essendon war room, as you call it, why was Brad Scott and some other guy sitting in the real lower bit? Like they were in the bunker bit.
It's all about the chair height, isn't it?
Yeah, because Dodoro's all standing up. He had the highest spot, I noticed.
He was in the high chair.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah, they put the babies in that.
All right, okay. So it was suspenseful.
Right. It was very suspenseful because, as you watch the draft unfold, particularly on the first day, there was a lot of movement from Gold Coast with their academy players and other clubs bidding for those players, and then Gold Coast having to come in and match those bids.
And then North Melbourne having every second selection.
Well, basically, North Melbourne had a free run at it.
My God.
And, so it came down to us, and our originally we had pick 8. That was what it was at the end of the season. That's then moved out to be pick 11 after some, moves from the Gold Coast and other academy picks.
Right.
And Nate Caddy was still available, but Geelong had the pick before us at pick 10, and there had been quite a lot of talk about Geelong having an interest in Nate Caddy.
Right.
And Dodoro pulled off the masterstroke.
Did he really?
Well, he claims he did.
Right. Okay.
And
exactly.
He got on the phone to his counterpart down at the Caddy and said, "Mate, what have we flung you? A 31, and you give us pick 10 back. You get our 11, but we get your 10."
Right.
And we'll chuck you the 31. And I think Geelong, back in the Caddy war room, was just bursting into fits of laughter at that point.
He fell for it.
He bought it. I don't think Geelong were ever going to take Nate Caddy. And as it turned out, they got their man, and we got our man too, to be fair. And I think it was a fantastic... Okay, so we gave away an extra pick or a second-round draft pick for him. But
you're okay with that?
What a player he is going to be for this club. And his attitude, his demeanour, he is just everything that we want from a young player.
Yes.
And did you see him being interviewed after he was selected?
I did. The one where, I don't know if it was a Fox or where it was, but he was talking to Dodoro, but then he spots Brad Scott and just says, I better go talk to the coach.
Yeah.
And he did that whole kind of new kid in the office kind of vibe. He was like, mate, I'm ready to train now. I was ready to train after the combine.
Yeah, he did.
And he was...
I think he said it 15 times.
If that counts for anything.
Sure. Well, by the end of that conversation, I
attitude.
think Brad was looking over to his bodyguard saying, "Can someone get this kid off me?" But no, fair call. He was bursting with enthusiasm, and
you'd rather see than the alternative.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing laid back about Nate Caddy, and if he's anything like that on the football field, which I believe he will be, he's a in-your-face type player. A lot of people are saying he's a bit like Jake Stringer, but I think he's a bit more explosive, has a much stronger aerial presence. He's a fantastic mark of the football, and probably a little faster too than Jake, but very much the same sort of explosive mid-size forward. He's not a tall player. He's only 193 centimetres.
Yeah.
But, I think he fits the mould perfectly, and he could very well be playing for us early in the next season. I think he's almost ready to go.
Will he play on Anzac Day?
Well, he could. I mean, he certainly looks like the goods, and I think we should all be pretty excited about having Nate Caddy on our list, because we do need that alternative forward. Jake's obviously coming to the end of his career, and, to be fair, he hasn't been the most consistent player. But a Caddy, along with Kyle Langford, and let's hope Harry Jones really comes on as well, and Peter Wright. Suddenly, Jade Gresham, that forward line starting to take shape.
How quickly we move on.
We do.
How quickly we move. A few weeks ago, if you had mentioned Jade Gresham, you just spit in his general direction. But now, love him.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite players.
He's now part of the discussion.
He's on my duffel coat, that's for sure.
Is he?
Now,
Right,
but
okay.
in addition to that, we also picked up a couple of other players on the draft day, second day.
We did on the second day. Now, so we gave up pick 31, right?
Yeah, we did.
We gave that up, and so we still had pick 39.
This is in regards to Luamon Lual.
Yes.
Who was I think he was on the Geelong NGA, next generation academy.
Warrnambool boy.
From around the Warrnambool area. And, the situation with academy players is if they're taken by their club of origin after pick 40, other clubs can't bid for that player. So Essendon needed to get in early to get him, and they got him at 39. He was grabbed by us before the Bulldogs could get him, and they're not happy about that, of course. But
they're not, are they?
Tough titties.
Right.
And we got him, and I think he looks like a really exciting prospect.
Yeah.
Incredible athlete.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit of a project player. He came to Australian rules footy a little later in life. I think he started playing when he was 12 or 13.
Right.
But he looks amazing in the highlights reel. But
Yes,
have you ever seen a bad highlights reel?
No.
They don't call them low lights reels, do they?
That's right. You never read a bad testimonial, do you?
You don't, that's for sure. Certainly not when it comes to this program.
No, that's right. But good on him. He was quite the celebration from the family as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Heartwarming, as always. What did you think of the... we'll come back to the rest of the picks, but what did you think of the coverage of the draft in general? There was a lot of guys sitting around tables, family, friends, 38 hugs once you get announced.
Yeah.
Friends going berserk. What did you think? Because we've really gone in the American direction, haven't we? With the whole combine thing as well.
It is.
It's all show business, isn't it?
Completely. I mean, the whole AFL strategy is TV ratings, isn't it? So, But I think if these kids don't become decent footballers, they could also try their hand at acting.
Yeah.
Because some of the expressions of delight when being selected by Fremantle really were outstanding Oscar-winning performances.
Yeah. Like Daryl Summers at the TV Logies.
Yeah. There's Harley Reid, couldn't have been more thrilled to be travelling 3,000 kilometres across the country to the sand pit that is Western Australia, to be playing for the basket case that is the West Coast Eagles. Yeah. Harley, we'll see you back in Melbourne in a couple of years.
Sure.
Just hang in there. We'll come for you. Don't worry about that.
You just got to do your time, mate.
But he did look happy in a kind of sad way.
Right.
I don't know what you call that, sort of wistful, maybe? Wistful? Or...
Well, I think he was reconciled with his fate.
Yeah.
Let's just call it that.
Yeah, I mean, North could have tried harder to save him from that hell, but anyway.
Mate, how many can they save, North Melbourne?
Well, they've got a few, haven't they? I think they've got something like 28 first-round draft picks playing on their list now. And
seriously? Come on. They're not in the grand final in 2 years. Come on.
Alistair Clarkson is just regularly kissed on the dick.
Yeah.
I would say he has just hit the jackpot going to that club because, I think they had the second and third round. I think they had 4 first-round draft
They
picks.
ran out of jumpers to hand out. They had to
did.
start using some Bulldogs.
They gave him Goldie's old one, Todd Goldstein's old jumper.
yes,
Came down to the ankles of the young lad that went at pick 3. So the Kangaroos, look, if they can't win a final or can't build a team around the sort of freebies that they're being given, there's no hope for anyone else.
We're only envious.
Yeah, we are. Wish we got a few handouts.
Yes. Okay, so let's go on to young Archie Roberts.
Archie Roberts, yeah, look, this is an interesting one. Obviously, he was selected around pick 54, I think it was.
54, you think?
Something in the 50s.
Righto.
And, a lot of people saying he could have gone a lot higher than that. Yeah, he was quite highly rated early in the year. He's an Haileybury boy, so he was coached by our great Matty Lloyd, who loves to provide kegs for the after-game parties down there at Haileybury.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure Matthew Lloyd had a couple of quiet words in the ear of Scotty and Dodoro to say, hey, have a look at this kid because he's pretty good.
Right.
He's a running half-back type. And, I guess if we've got a weakness in the list,
Right.
not right at the moment, but potentially is someone to match up with Mason Redman on the other half-back flank. That rebounding type, fast defender
balance
player.
things up.
Sort of in the way that Adam Sard and Connor McKenna played that role.
Yeah.
At the moment, you've got, Heppel coming to the end of his career on one of those half-back flanks. So I think both Luamon and Archie will be able to potentially fill that role as sort of a highly charged, athletic type halfback flankers. So,
certainly Collingwood had that this year, and that definitely played a role, I think, in their success.
Such an important position on the field. You look at Collingwood, their best player plays on the halfback flank.
Yeah.
And that's not Mason Cox, by the way. So now, talking about draft selections, one that I'm sure is dear to your heart, Joe, is the rookie draft.
Yes.
I know you're a big fan of the rookie draft.
I watch it very, very closely.
I'm not sure it's televised.
Who did... I went to the...
Oh, you were there?
To the social club where they held it.
Right. I don't think so. Okay. Anyway, keep trying.
All right. So a young gentleman by the name of Vigor Vicentini.
That is the double V.
Well, you got to love a name with a bit of alliteration.
That is most
certainly
works
well.
An exotic name, isn't it?
It is. Vigo.
Can you walk us through the...
It's not a double G, Vigo. It's not like, Viggo Mortensen.
Well, there's a Lord of the Rings reference for you.
Yep, okay. No, it's just one G. So I think it's the Italian version. Just Vigo. Just Vigo.
Vigo.
Okay? All right.
How do you say it?
Vigo.
Vigo.
I don't really know how he says it.
And Vicentini.
He probably says Vigo. G'day.
He's been Australianised,
exactly. But yes, welcome.
Yes,
welcome to
Vigo. He's a 203 centimetre budding ruckman.
Steve Alessio type.
He is, a little taller than Sess.
Right.
And Sess, how are you? We know he's a big fan of the show.
Yes. Thanks for watching.
I think Vigo is a long-term prospect for sure, but you have in Vigo all upside. He's a terrific mover. He marks the ball well. He handballs really well. He gets the ball out of those tight pack situations. He could be something. He could be just a little bit of a surprise going forward. And certainly we now have some pretty decent depth in the rucking department.
Sounds like we do.
We've got Draper and Goldstein, and then Nick Bryan, of course, who's just developing very nicely, and now young Viggo Vicentini. So welcome to the club and welcome to all the lads.
Yes.
I hope you are going to be able to enjoy successful careers and have wonderful good fortune playing with the Mighty Bombers.
Indeed, well said. When you talk about project player, though, I just want to pull you up and say, what makes one player a project player and another guy just a guy who's going to do his best?
Well, it's kind of like you use the term project player when there's every chance the player's going to fail.
Oh, right.
It's called a get-out-of-jail card.
It
was always a project player.
Right.
Don't give me a bit of slack on that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a nice way to say we've got no idea if he's going to be any good or not.
Okay. Got it. Well, that makes sense.
I think so.
I think
it's a nice way of saying it. I mean, you don't want to say, look, he's pretty shit and we don't think he's going to make it.
Right.
We're saying he's a project player.
Right.
And if he does make it, how brilliant are we?
Yes.
If he doesn't, well, not our fault.
Yes.
And that tends to be the use of that particular phrase.
Right. Okay. So we're all pumped. We've got our new players.
Yeah.
When do you think? Because I was thinking about this. When do we hit, as an Essendon fan, peak delusion leading into the next? I know what the date that I think it is.
Do you? What's
is
your
it now?
thought?
Is it now for many for many people? For me, it's early Feb. Just as they're about to play their first practice match, I start dreaming of what could be.
I think it could be. My view, and it's only my view, is that the point of maximum delusion is probably almost upon us. This is just my view.
Right.
I think you've got your argument for February is also valid. But, we've been talking about the off-season in terms of we've gone around the dark side of the moon and we've come out. Now we're heading back towards the beautiful blue marble that is planet Earth.
Right.
And as we get closer and closer to planet Earth, we get more and more excited. So there is something to say that planet Earth is round 1 next year. And when you touch down, that's the ultimate. We're ready to roll.
Yes.
But there's no question that the anticipation of arrival on planet Earth is pretty exciting, and I think that's where we are now. We've got the new squad, we've got new names. Four boys have joined us through the trade period.
Lots of photos coming out of players that are just have metamorphosized. Yes, you know what I mean.
But so they've got four trade players coming in, the Greshams, Goldie, Dersma, of course, and who was the other one that came in the trade period?
The other guy, Gresham.
We said Gresham, Dersma, Goldstein, and Mackay, of course.
Only the most valuable one.
$1.5 million in his first year. Easy to forget. Then you've got the 4 new kids coming in the draft. So there's eight new names. That's a fair chunk of the list.
There really is.
To get excited about. So I'm pumped right now, and I think a lot of us are.
I sense it.
You do, don't you? It's not hard to see.
Yes.
But I think it's different. And the thing is...
It's different this time?
Well, no, I'm going to say it is because the type of players we've actually drafted very much with the list balance in mind, as opposed to simply plucking names out because they were the best available or whatever it was.
Right.
We've gone and filled holes.
Right.
And I think that, certainly with the 4 traded players, each and every one of them will start round 1 next year.
Right.
So that's 4 changes immediately.
Yeah, okay.
And there's a good chance that a Nate Caddy could start. So there's 5 coming into the side.
That'd be exciting.
Plus, you might see the return of Harry Jones, Zach Reed, guys that missed it most of the season last season with injury. So, we could see as many as 8 new names or 8 really fresh faces in our round 1
You're doing it to me. Every year you pump me right up.
I'm just glad we've got cloth cover on this desk.
Mate, you should be very glad.
Yeah.
When was it? 4 or 5 years ago, you built a massive case why the Dons were going to win that year.
Yeah.
Under the regime of Ben Rutten, you had me wound up so tight.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
sorry about that. You didn't put big money on them, did you?
Well, I was kind of tempted because you said it was just like put the private school money on it. They were your words.
God, jeez.
Yeah, I went pear-shaped.
They're not cheap. Well, look, I can't say we're going to win anything with this squad, but we are definitely heading in the right direction. I think we should be seriously aiming for a top 8 position and perhaps a win, maybe a finals win. And wouldn't that be something to get that albatross off the neck?
It would be nice.
Yeah.
It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah.
So that's it. We've got two. No. We've got plenty to do here.
Yeah.
Because we discussed this in our last video, and I also want to acknowledge that you predicted the Nate Caddy selection 2 or 3 videos ago.
Yeah.
I thought, and even though it was it was questioned, let's say, by our fellow Essendon channel. Felix down at Everything Essendon.
I don't think he was questioning.
I know he questioned it and he said there was no chance.
Well, I think he said there was no chance because he'd be taken before we had our pick.
Yeah, right.
But as it turned out, and I know we're finished talking about
you
the
normally
draft.
gloat more than this.
No, I will. I'm getting to it.
I'm a bit sort of...
Allow me to build up to it.
Oh, okay.
But no, I think the issue was what got us Caddy was Gold Coast. And I wonder if anyone can work out why. If you've been paying attention, you should know.
Right.
It was Gold Coast that landed Caddy for us.
Okay.
Because Gold Coast kept pushing other clubs out of the draft.
Right.
It created an opportunity where some of these players were sliding down to pick 10, 11 and what have you. And I think because of that, the opportunity arose and we got him. No, I think Felix from Everything Essendon, who also highly rates Nate Caddy, would have, without question, gone, yep, we should grab him if he's available.
Yeah.
I think his point was it would have been unlikely that player was still around when our pick came along. So
in his defence, he'd studied it way more than us.
Oh, completely. And in his defence, we pretty much stole the idea from him anyway. So, but we'll take credit for it. And I did say it. I had the balls to say it. And we did get our man in the end. So
you did.
Looking forward to seeing how young Nate goes.
Some people have commented that, maybe Adrian Doro, and I want to get to him now, maybe he watches this show and so perhaps provided that last little bit of confirmation that he, if he was sitting on the fence, he's like, well, boys at Absolutely Essendon have given it the blessing.
Yeah,
I'm
look,
good to go.
If Adrian's been watching this show, I think he'd be prickling with anger.
Yeah,
with some of the barbs we throw his way.
He would have smashed the TV.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been kind. And but he did have that wonderful video we did purely about him a few weeks back, months maybe.
Yes.
Our dedication to Adrian.
The tribute.
The tribute, yes. So, but on the subject of Adrian Doro, why would we even let him walk out the door? Why would we? He has pulled off a masterclass this year.
Well, we ran a poll on our Twitter feed.
Did we?
Or X? Is it X?
X, yeah.
Where is it? I'm trying to find it. There it is. Yes.
So what was the poll?
The poll was a fantastic trade period followed by some shrewd moves on the draft night to land Caddy and Lual. Come back, Adrian. All is forgiven.
Oh, so I can't say I disagree with that. And so what did
the options were convince Dodoro to stay,
convince him to stay,
yes, or let him walk, damage done.
Let him walk, damage done.
What do you think the results?
Convince him to stay. Really? Would have been by far and away the most popular vote.
Oh no! People have got a long memory, my friend.
Oh dear!
A very long.
Are we bitter?
22-year.
Right. What was the
purgatory memory?
What was the percentage?
27% versus 73%.
73% said out the door, buddy.
Out.
Oh my God!
Out.
What an unforgiving supporter base we have.
Very unforgiving, mate.
Man, I'm surprised to see that. I thought he would have won back a few fans this year.
No. No.
Okay.
And that's a sample size of 517 votes.
That's a fair size.
So, it's not just talking three people who decided to respond.
Do we have that many people on that?
It would seem so. I don't know where they've come from. And
that's the Absolutely Essendon.
And it is Twitter
page. X page. I hope you're all tuning because there's a lot of fun goes on our Twitter page in between episodes. So if you're ever craving some Absolutely Essendon hijinks.
Yes. No. Some people made some interesting comments.
What were some of the landmark milestones? Highlight comments.
Well, someone said, offer him a spot on the board as football director.
Are you crazy?
Yes. Honestly, the coach directs the recruiting department to find the type of player he wants in the team. I could bloody do it.
Oh, okay. Why are you putting on that voice? You make our subscribers sound like absolute morons.
No, that's sort of just a very opinionated subscriber.
Oh, okay. Can you sort of do a different voicing?
What has he actually done? He continues to pick talented young players who provide upside in the trade period. Once they're in the club, it's up to the coaches and players to make them better.
Well, isn't that the coach's issue, not Dodoro?
Yeah, well, that's because the key is, yes, one, to get the players, and secondly, get them in the hands of our medium performance team to really take them to the next level.
Well, I can't say that's Dodoro's fault, my friend, so I'm not sure why you're having a crack at him. But anyway, some very interesting comments.
No, we do appreciate you commenting on...
not that one. I'm not here to win friends, sorry.
No,
it was a stupid comment.
I think that's evident.
Right. Yeah. So I hope he retracts that comment, having viewed our response to it. So, Adrian Doro, anyway, we know he's... Well, I'm not sure he's decided to move on. But he is moving on.
Is he? Is he?
Well, maybe. Who knows?
Not sure.
But Matt Rosa, haven't heard his name mentioned once through this draft period.
Not
once. Not once have I heard them saying, what an astute pick by Matt Rosa.
Why is that?
Yeah, because Dodoro's put an embargo on his name.
He's really throwing his weight around still, isn't he? Hey?
Yeah.
He was the one sort of standing up like, I'm commanding the ship here.
Yeah.
Poor little Matt Rosa had to sit down the end of the desk.
Go grab the teas, grab the coffees.
Yeah,
hey, there's some pastries downstairs. Go grab them.
Yeah.
Hey,
It seemed to be a bit
Brad,
going on.
can you sit in the little small chair?
Yeah, because Brad was sort of, his head was just above the table like that going.
It was definitely a power play, wasn't it? Definitely a power play.
You know how you give someone the bad chair in a meeting?
Yeah, the Josh Marnie chair. Bless him.
Now, we talked a lot about sponsorship last week as well. I think in the main, everyone's happy to see Dutton Automotive on board.
I saw you in the new Aston Martin driving into the studio today.
I wish. Some people, wanting to see New Brick come back.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That was a good, strong brand.
Yeah, it was. I think I saw some comments about that, and was it 3? You remember the old mobile phone network?
Yes.
Someone put GOAT with the 3 logo.
Right.
As if that is the greatest sponsor, football logo, whatever you want to call it, that we've ever had. Shirt sponsor.
Not Don Small Goods?
Oh, they're the shorts. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Okay.
Well, if you're going to promote small goods, you're not having them up on the chest, are you? So, but I would have thought New Brick, and Speed Kills. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had Speed Kills in 2000.
Yes, it was.
When we won the flag that year.
You're right.
And they were right,
yes.
It did kill. We haven't won anything since. So, but yeah, I mean, we've had some great sponsors, and yes, as we touched on in a previous episode, Amart was not one of those.
Right.
Nevertheless, we're grateful for their financial contribution and wish them all the best going forward.
We do indeed. Your support was appreciated during a very tough period. But since then, have you noticed that one Sam Draper is doing ads for Tradie? The Tradie brand
the jocks.
Well, yeah, but I think they've released a
little tighty boxer shorty things,
sort of,
nut huggers.
Prominent merchandising of goods. Let's put it that way. But no, they've released a beer, and I think they're using him in a beer.
Beer and jocks. It's an interesting.
Why not? It's all about brand.
So Draper's doing the TV commercial for that.
Yes.
For the beer,
have you spotted it? For the beer. For the beer.
I haven't seen it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Look out for it.
How's his performance?
Yeah, not bad.
Better than his footballing.
I think he's sort of considered every man. He's
Draper.
He's lovable.
Has he got his moustache back?
Lovable larrikin.
Because he shaved it off for Movember.
Yeah, no, I think they filmed this before then.
Okay.
But the mullet in good form. So look out for that.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy, Sam, and I don't know why other brands aren't clamouring for his services. I could see him doing Gucci. I could see him doing.
No, I don't know about Gucci, but Kyle
United Airlines.
Kyle Langford will be doing Prada soon.
Kyle should be doing Prada.
Just wearing their clothes
with a little
serious
espresso, a little
serious facial.
Him
expression.
and George Clooney. Together.
Yeah. Have you noticed that because Sam's smiling in the Tradie beer ad, right? But the more upmarket the brand, the more serious,
the less
facial expression.
human warmth.
That's right.
The colder.
Yes. So you have to be ice. If you're going to do Prada or that, you've got to be ice.
You're not allowed to be happy when you can afford to buy Prada?
You're doing Uniqlo. There's a lot of smiles. There's a lot of...
you know what? I have never thought of that. And we have a long and storied history in the world of retail.
Well, I don't know if it's storied and probably not even that long.
And, I've never thought of that. That's actually true. When you think about it in terms of marketing, the more upmarket,
that's it.
The more pissed off the model looks.
That's right. It's got to be very much
down market.
Blue steel.
Is that just a commentary on the stupidity of the masses? It's like if you're elite, it's like looking down your nose at the masses.
Well, you could argue that if you get sucked into buying luxury goods,
you're feeling the pain a bit. Yeah, it's probably true. Well, that's an interesting diversion for football. So, but it does bring back to mind the thought of a lot of past Essendon players that have appeared in TV commercials, and I think that might be something we should look at for a future episode.
I think we should, if we could dig some up.
Well, maybe some of the guys out here would be able to prompt our memories of
that would be great. Please.
Essendon players. I know Terry Danaher did a couple of beer ads back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Might have been for Carlton Draft or something like that.
I think so. Perfect for it.
There was no better beer drinker than Terry Danaher. No. I think Daisy Williams and Paul Vanderhaar might have done some Winfield 20 25s ads. If they didn't, they certainly smoked the product.
They did. I
And,
saw Michael Hurley promoting Prestige mattresses
Michael
online
Hurley?
somewhere. Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
the bear.
Him and the mattresses. Yeah, because a bear sleep
Yeah.
mattresses. It's a natural connection.
Did Tony Bahagia do TV ads? I think Tony Bahagia might have.
Yeah.
Ronnie Andrews?
Don't know what you'd use him for.
Well,
Boxing gloves?
maybe. Yeah. He would have done like
Dental
gutter
work?
cleaning or
Dental
something.
work? Yeah.
Well, maybe. But anyway, that's an interesting subject, and
Yes.
I'm sure our viewers who are great
Yes. And
keepers of the knowledge.
may I say also, we do appreciate you, the guys that have hung in this time of the year.
Oh.
Hung in thick.
They're all in high maximum security cells, so they're not going anywhere.
You think
to be
that
fair.
anyone's watching?
Yeah.
Did you know?
In between visits from the cellmate next door?
May I end on this stat? I don't know if you
Yeah.
have a look at the YouTube analytics stuff, but
Never.
I was blown away by this. But do you know what percentage of people watch this on the TV screen?
Oh, God,
Yeah.
I hope not many.
Close to 30%.
You don't want to blow me
I
up
know,
on the
that's exactly
65-incher.
right. That's what I thought.
Oh,
I mean, but you
Jesus.
want to condense it. You don't want to.
I hope
blow
they
it up.
don't have children.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is ridiculous,
Yeah,
guys.
I
Keep
couldn't-
it
I
down
couldn't
on the
believe that.
mobile
I don't know
phone.
if it's true. I mean, they probably make up all that. YouTube make up a lot of shit. But
I would be just to see my face
I couldn't tell.
on anything
I was-
bigger than a mobile telephone.
Just
It'd be
the thought of
terrifying.
it. Just, yeah.
But that's great that they're watching. But
Anyway.
some things should not be seen.
All right, we're
there's
quickly running this into the
we
sand.
are. No, but
So let's-
it's been a fascinating and interesting discussion. I say we've talked about the draft. We've talked about the rookie draft.
Yep.
We've talked about Essendon players and advertising.
Yes.
We've talked about a lot of things today, most of it nonsensical.
Right.
And most importantly, what are we going to talk about next week?
That's going to be tough.
There's
It's gonna be brutal
there's
next
not
week.
much. Well,
There'll be
there is
tumbleweed
the players
flying.
are back at training next week. All players back. So we've had the sort of guys coming back from Arizona, looking like the Hulk, and you have the first to fourth year players have been back for a couple of weeks, and now all players back. And so if you were getting your socials flooded by the Essendon Football Club with images of Sam Durham looking.
Oh my God, he looked massive.
Looking like a polar bear.
Are they photoshopping? Seriously, come on.
Well, I mean, Sam Durham has gone from a sweet
He's
young
just-
lad to looking like some menacing inmate from Sing Sing.
No, he looks like a Marvel character.
Incredible.
He went from the nerd friend who gets his head kicked in every week to
bring it on.
head of the universe guy.
Bring it on. And I was looking through those pictures on the Essendon. You know, we have this sort of obsession with looking at young men in tank tops. And I was skimming through the gallery of our most recent training session out at the hangar.
Right.
And there was Sam Durham, and there was this, and there was that guy, and they were all looking just totally ripped.
Right.
And then there was Nick Cox.
And?
Oh, spaghetti arms Coxie. There is no way this boy is ever going to put on an inch of muscle. It's just not going to happen, folks.
You know,
unfortunately for Nick.
Some people just are built that way. I notice I spend a lot of time in the gym. It just doesn't seem to make any difference.
It's in the DNA. And I think Coxie, look, he's probably like a little terrier. He's very, strong and wriggly and can break out of tackles, but it certainly isn't because of muscle size.
Right.
So
Okay.
we'll see how he goes. But the lads are looking pretty ripped. They've been living an AFL lifestyle. Scotty?
Have they? Oh,
So,
you think?
be
Okay,
happy
they're
with
listening
that.
to the coach.
So that's
Coach.
about it, isn't it?
All right, well, we managed to run it into the sand even further. Thank you for
Pleasure.
that further information. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. What we're going to cover...
Give us some ideas. Let's do some lists. We should do lists.
We're not going to share that just yet.
Should we do reaction videos to the latest music? Pop art?
You know how there's sleep videos on YouTube that just to help you sleep?
Brown noise and whatever.
Maybe we can do red and black noise, but just with sort of Essendon affirmations.
That's good if you've got tinnitus, that sort of thing.
Yeah, is as well, is it?
Apparently.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently.
Right.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know?
No, not a chance.
You sure?
Fuck that ringing. All right.
That'll do.
Joseph.
We're out.
Thank you for that.
Do too.
It's been
Thank you,
wonderful,
as always.
And we shall say, see you soon. Take care.
Thanks
Keep
again
watching.
for watching.
Bye-bye.
Go the Dons.